Hello everyone, today we'll be making an audio visualizer inside Davinci Resolve, so let's get started. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the music that we're going to be using. So it has to be WAV format, just so you know. And now we're just going to drag it onto our timeline. Okay, now we're going to check how long this is. So we're just going to slide to the end. And we're going to place the CTI right here. And as we can see, it's 6 minutes, 3 seconds, and 18 frames long. So now we're going to right click on our media pool, select new fusion composition, frame rate 24, and we are going to make it 3 seconds. Six minutes, 3 seconds, and 18 frames long. I'm just going to click on create. And here it is. Now we're going to drag this all the way to the beginning, bring the CTA back, and we're going to drag this composition right here. Now we're going to select this composition and we're going to go into the Fusion tab. Okay, now that we're in our Fusion tab, we're going to take our media out node and we're going to put it right here. And we're going to right click on our flow and make sure to arrange tools to grid, make sure that that's checked, and options select orthogonal pipes. And that just keeps everything organized. So what I'm going to show you now is in order to get this effect, you need a fuse. And a fuse is a type of plugin for Fusion, but it's a type of plugin that works in the free version of Fusion. It's a little bit different than a plugin, but in order to get it, you're going to have to go and download Reactor, and that's an amazing plugin manager for Davinci Resolve and Fusion. Highly recommended, and in highly recommended thing. And there's so much stuff in it that you just keep going through and you find something new all the time. So in order to open Reactor, so first I'm going to show you how to install it. So once you download it, you're going to get something like this. Small file, it's only like 50 kilobytes large. It's a text file, so you just need to drag it onto the flow and the installation will start. Then you're going to want to Control S, save the project, and you're going to have to restart Davinci Resolve. And then to open it, you need to go into Workspace, Scripts, Reactor, and here we have Open Reactor. As you can see, it looks like a plugin. You have so many things here that are very useful. I already installed a lot of them. It's just the second time that I'm already installing Reactor. But the things that we need for this, the things that we need are the audio fuse, and that lets you use audio inside of Fusion. So it's this one. And it was made by Peter Van Hoot, and he's also the one who actually made Reactor. So a huge shout out to him. And it's a very amazing, all of the things that he makes. All of this. The time machine fuse is also good. Very good. Huge shout out to him. So you just need to click on the check mark here to install it. I already installed it. This is just, as I said, the second time that I'm installing Reactor. And we're going to need the Echo fuse. And this Echo fuse was made by Jacob Donnell. And it's also a great fuse and we're going to need for this tutorial. So I just need to click on the check mark. And if you want to support the devs, then that's up to you. If you can, but it just shows them your support. So just after you install them, you restart Fusion again. I'm just gonna close this. And those are the two things that we need for this tutorial. So first thing we're going to do, what I'm going to do actually, is I'm gonna go into the standalone version of Fusion, and I already explained why, because inside Davinci Resolve, it tends to be longer and it slows down while I'm screen recording. So I'm just going to close this. And here we are in the standalone version of Fusion. You can just follow along in this tutorial. I've had questions before, why do you go into the standalone version of Fusion? It's no problem. You can just follow along. The fuses work inside Davinci Resolve as well. So we're going to do Control Spacebar, and we're going to type background, BG, shortcut for background, okay? This we're going to add a rectangle map, so we'll just write rectangle, RE. Now, We're going to send this to our viewer, and we have something like this. What we need to do is we need to make a very thin line, even thinner, something like that. Then I need to copy the exact values that I'm doing. Now, for the height of the rectangle, we are going to right click and we're going to click on modify width. And here it is, the audio fuse that we were talking about. And this fuse is amazing. You can do so many audio effects with this. It's just amazing. So where is it? Where are we going to find it? We have the modifiers tab here. So we're just going to click on it. And here we have our audio fuse. So we need a song to drive this. So this is the song that we were talking about earlier. Make sure it's the same song. So we're just gonna drag this here. Now, as you can see, we need to set this to unassigned median. And as you can see, it starts reacting to the audio like that. I'm just gonna go to the beginning. And what we need to do is we're gonna bring the amplitude offset down and amplitude scale down a little as well, so it doesn't go so drastically. Bring the offset up actually and the scale down. Maybe bring the scale just a little bit higher. Well, we'll play with it later. And to this, I'm just gonna move this to the side, and we're gonna do Control S to save. Always save your work. It's better to save an extra time because it's just a shortcut. It's not like you have to go and go to File, click Save. But just save it because you never know when Fusion might act up on you. So now we're going to type echo. That's the fuse we installed earlier. So we're just going to pipe this in. And in the echo, we're going to set this to probably about 60 frames. And we're just going to go to the beginning and you won't see much. So if we go to frame probably 18, we're going to select this and we're going to drag it just a little bit. So what do we see here? This is our audio. Yeah, they probably need to be a little bit more close together. We're just going to bring them a little bit closer. Yeah, something like that. So to this, we're going to add a transform. So Control Spacebar, XF, transform. Here's our transform. And we're just gonna bring this a little lower, bring it to the side, almost center it, like that. Not centered, like in the middle. Okay. We'll do some more stuff to this later. Now, what we're going to need to do, we're going to Control Spacebar. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to tell you, that the background needs to be in Davinci Resolve. This is checked by default, so you need to uncheck it. So what we're going to type is 1920 by 1920. Make it something like that. And here is our audio. And I'll explain to you why it matters that it has to be a square and not a rectangle. I'll explain this later. So we're going to copy this background, copy, paste it here. And in this background, we're going to select gradient. Actually, we should probably look at it. And on this side of the gradient, we're going to make it red. Bring this up. And on this side of the gradient, we're going to make it nice blue. Yeah, so we have a gradient like that. Now, we're going to bring this here, and we're going to merge this over. And we have this, and instead of over, we're going to set the operator to in. As you can see, we have this nice, let me turn off the transparent background so we can actually see what we're doing. Have this nice colorful audio wave. Now, that's for the first part of our audio, but we can do this now. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to add another transform. There's our transform. We're going to look at it actually. We're going to bring the aspect probably like that. And after this transform, we're going to do Control Spacebar and we're going to search for coordinate space. And that's the same as polar coordinates in After Effects. So as you can see, it's default set to rectangular to polar, and we need to set it to polar to rectangular. And we have something like this. Now, we have to get it to the point where it's actually full. So 60 frames is where it's full. And in the transform, we're just gonna move it a little to the side, get it like centered like that. And aspect we can play with a little bit more. Now, to this, we're going to add another transform node, and you're about to see what I'm gonna do. And we're also going to grab a merge node, MRG, shortcut for merge. Now we're going to pipe the coordinate space and the merge node and the transform into the merge. Now, in the transform, we're going to set it to flip horizontally, and now we have a circle. Yeah. Now what we can do, we can actually play with the modifier a little bit, maybe a little bit with the scale, bring it up. And there's a lot of things to play with, the offset, a lot of things here. So this is the first layer of our audio visualizer. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to bring another background like this one, copy it, and I'm only copying it because of the size, so I don't have to change the size all the time. And here we're going to paste it. We're going to look at it in our viewer, and this one we're also going to make a gradient. So just going to select gradient here, and in Davinci Resolve I believe there's another tab here called shading, so just click on it and make a gradient. And this one we're going to make probably green, something like this. And on the other side we're going to make it purple. You can make it any color you want, it's just that these colors, I think, in my opinion, look fine together. So, Control spacebar, and we're going to type rectangle. Rectangle. This rectangle, we are going to make it very thin, but in the other way. Just make it something like that. Just have to make sure that it actually makes it to the edges. Alright, there we are. Now, to this, we are going to add a displace node. Okay, displace. And we're going to bring a fast noise, FN, shortcut for fast noise. We're going to look at our fast noise. Gonna bring up the detail and the contrast, and not that far, maybe about 3. The brightness. Now, to this fast noise, we're going to add a blur. Alright, very nice. Now we're just going to blur this to about maybe 15, something like that, make it soft. And this is going to be our displacement map. Now, if we look in our displays, we see not much really changed. So we need to select the displace, and we need to bring up the refraction strength just a little bit. Probably it's the time to turn on high quality so we can actually see what we're doing. And in the fast noise, we'll probably bring the scale a little up. Ooh, maybe not that far up. And we'll blur this a little bit more, like that. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to go into our fast noise, and we are going to go to the C, and we are going to modify this with an audio. Not the same one, we're going to make a different instance of it. So we're going to go to our modifiers tab right here, and we're going to drag our audio file. Here's the file, and we're going to drag it here. Very nice. Now it's going to be modified with the audio. See, it's changing. All right. After this, we're going to add a transform node, XF transform. And after this, we are going to add a coordinate space. Okay. To the transform node, we are going to apply a rectangle mask. And let's see what we get in our coordinate space. Yeah, we need to set the coordinate space once again, polar to rectangle. So we have this circle. So we go into our transform, we select this rectangle, we pull it all the way to the edge, and we need to get really close to the edge, but not all the way. Something like that. All right. Now we're going to go to the transform and we're going to select flip horizontally, right, like that. And in our rectangle, we need to bring up the soft edge like that. And what we're going to look at in our coordinate space, that we need to make it as soft as possible. That way we won't see the seam. Yeah, something like this. Now, once we put it into our coordinate space, we see that it's not so, you can't really see all the details. So we're going to add another transform, XF. Here it is, transform. And we're going to look at it in the coordinate space, and we're going to bring this down. Yeah, that's a funny looking thingy. All right, so that's the second part of our visualizer. And now for the third part of our visualizer, we're going to go back to our project files, and I'm going to drag this logo. This is actually the Davinci Resolve logo. As you can see, it's on a transparent background. So I'm going to add a transform node, XF, and I'm going to go to the size. Oh, by the way, the Davinci Resolve logo is property of Blackmagic Design and cannot be used by anyone else other than them without their, for commercial purposes, that is, and without their permission. So I'm not going to modify this with another audio modifier. Then go to the modifiers tab, and I'm going to go to our files, and I'm going to drag the song again. Now we're going to look at our, oh, completely vanished. Now what we need to do is we need to set this to min. This is like, honestly, you can't really see it. Yeah. Now we need to bring the amplitude offset higher. As you can see, it's reacting to the music as well. It's dancing. Now we're gonna bring the amplitude scale a little higher. Maybe a little higher. Yeah, this looks much better when music is actually playing and you can hear it. So yeah, you can use any logo you want. This is something good for your remixes or your, I don't know, music videos. I see this all the time, these kind of visualizers. Okay, so basically these are the three parts that we already have. Now we just need to merge them together. So we're going to merge this over that. See what we got. And I'm probably gonna want to bring this a little bigger. Yeah, we get these little spikes coming out of the edges. And this I'm just gonna probably merge on top of it. And what do we get? What do we get here? Oh, it's quite small actually. So I'm just gonna bring up this like that. A little bigger. What do we get? Yeah, so everything's reacting to our music. Now, what we're going to do, the last part of this tutorial, is we're going to bring this background image. We're going to look at it here. What size is it? 1920 by 1080. Some city. It already has a vignette. But I think we need to add a little bit more of a vignette after, but we're just going to merge this under that. So what do we get? It's quite large actually, so we're just going to make it small like that. We have something like this. Yeah. So after this, I'm thinking maybe get another, I don't know, background. Gonna apply an elliptical mask, ellipse, and we're gonna make it like an oval sort of thing. The background, by the way, is the wrong size. So I need to make it 1920 by 1080. And you won't have this problem if you set the project settings in the beginning to, yeah, if you set them in the beginning to full HD, then you wouldn't have this problem. So I'm just gonna bring this probably a little higher, like that. I'm gonna invert it, bring it like completely soft on the edges. It's actually quite too big. So really, really deep unit. And we're gonna look at this again. Yeah, what you can do actually is instead of 0.2, you can actually manually type a number like 0.3, and it becomes like that. So here is our audio spectrum. And once again, I'd like to thank Peter Van Hoot, and this tutorial wouldn't be possible without him and this amazing audio effects that he designed. It actually adds a lot of function to Davinci Resolve, and it's quite cool. So this is in the beginning when the echo didn't come in yet, so it just starts, and by the time it gets to 60 frames, which is a little bit more than 2 seconds, it becomes a full circle. And this starts reacting from the beginning. Yeah. So if you like this tutorial, please subscribe. And there's one thing I forgot to tell you about, that there's an amazing online community called stakeunderwater.com, and there you can find the answers to most of your Fusion questions. And if someone didn't ask the question already, you can just ask, and there's a very nice community there that they can really help you find the answers to your questions. And actually, that's where you download the Reactor. So I'll provide a link in the description and a link to the image. I will provide the link to the logo because you probably don't want to make a audio reactor with the Davinci Resolve's logo. So this is just for the sake of the tutorial. So yeah, as you can see, that was the pre-render. But you saw in the beginning what this looks like, so it's not very important. Alright, so if you like this tutorial, please subscribe, like, share, and if you have any tutorial requests, I'd love to hear them. I try to recreate videos from After Effects and other popular compositing software inside Fusion, inside DaVinci Resolve. So if you have any requests, please love to hear them. Thanks. See you next time.